Hello students, welcome to my YouTube channel DR Mathematics and also welcome to the chapter of set. In this particular session, we are going to discuss about the total 6 number of theorems based upon the chapter set. So let us discuss about the theorem number 1. First of all, the theorem number 1 is idempotent law, and there are two cases. First of all, we have to prove that the union of A with itself, that means A union A is A, and the intersection of A with itself is also equal to A. Before going to the proof of these two parts, let us first discuss about some of the fundamental parts of the chapter set. We know that A union B can be described as X such that X belongs to A or X belongs to B. And also similarly, the first part is here, A union A can be described as or can be written as X such that X belongs to A or X belongs to A. As there exist two set X belongs to A and also the element X belongs to A, so we have to write down it once, X such that X belongs to A. Whenever all of the elements they are denoted by X are present in A, that means we can write down it as A. So it is proved that A union A is equal to A. Then moving towards to the next part, A intersection A. Before going to prove A intersection A, let us analyze A intersection B can be written as X such that X belongs to A and X belongs to B. In place of B, we can put A. And whenever we are putting A in place of B, it will be in the form of X such that X belongs to A and X belongs to again A, because in place of B there is A. So as there exist two duplicate parts, X belongs to A and X belongs to A, so we can write down it as once. So it will be X such that X belongs to A. That means X is denoted for all of the arbitrary elements that are present in the set A. So if all of the elements are present in the set A, so generally we can write down it as the set A. That means it is A intersection A is equal to A, and here it is proved. Then moving towards to the next theorem, theorem number 2. So here it is the second theorem, and it is identity laws, and it has also two parts. The first one is we have to prove that for any sets A union phi, that means union of any set A with the empty set gives us the result A. And in the second part, we have to prove that the intersection of any set A with the universal set U gives us the result as A. Here phi and U are called as the identity elements or identity sets for union and intersection respectively. Phi is the identity element for the union and U is the identity element for the intersection. So going for the first part, A union phi, again we have to go through the same definition of A union B, and it is X such that X belongs to A or X belongs to B. So putting phi in place of B, we can have X such that X belongs to A or X belongs to phi. As you know that we are going to consider the union of two sets, and phi set is subset of any set A. That means we have to consider the superset here. That means A is the superset here. That means X such that X belongs to A, and it is none other than the set A, because all of the arbitrary elements are present in the set A. Then moving towards to the second part, and it is proved. The first one is proved. Then the second one, we have to prove that the intersection of A and universal set will give us the result A intersection U. It is X such that X belongs to A and X belongs to universal set. That means here is the universal set U and it is the set given set A, and we have to find out their intersection. That means it will be only A. This feasible region, this darkened region is our solution. That means in this place all of the elements, such type of elements are present in A only. That means X such that X belongs to A. Whenever all of the arbitrary elements are present in A, that means our solution is the set A. And here it is the proof of the second part of the identity laws. That means the theorem number 2. Then moving towards to the theorem number 3, and it is commutative law. So here it is the theorem number 3, and this is commutative law of the set. We have given that two sets A and B, then we have to prove both of the parts. Union of A and B is very much equal to union of B and A. And in the second part, we have to prove the intersection of A and B is very much equal to intersection of B and A. Before going to prove the commutative law, first of all, we have to go through the definition of equal sets. What does mean by, or what is the definition of equal sets? The two sets A and B are equal with each other if and only if A is a subset of B and also B is a subset of A. If these two conditions satisfies, then we can call it as A is equal to B, or we can write it as A is equal to B. That means to prove A is equal to B, first of all we have to prove that A is a subset of B, and in the next phase, we have to prove that B is a subset of A. In this case, by considering this as equation 1 and this as equation number 2, and by combining both of the equations, we can prove that A is equal to B. So let us solve or prove the commutative law, both of the parts of commutative law, by taking or by considering the equal parts. So here is the first part. Let X be on, this is the case 1. Let X be an arbitrary element of A union B. That implies X belongs to A union B. If X belongs to A union B, that implies X belongs to A or X belongs to B. We have just started from A union B, and we have to reach the condition up to B union A. Let us interchange their position. Just interchanging their position, X belongs to B or X belongs to A. Then this is equal to X belongs to B union A. Just we have started from the A union B and we have reached the B union A. The element X which is in A union B is also present in B union A. That means, hence, just we have started from A union B and reached to the position of B union A. The element X which is in the set A union B is also present in the set B union A. That means A union B is subset of B union A. Bracket is not necessary here, and this is the equation number 1. Similarly, starting from B union A, we can also reach to the point of A union B. Similarly, we can show that, or we can prove that B union A is subset of A union B, and this is the second equation. By combining these two equations from equation 1 and equation 2, because this is the condition of equality of two sets. So from equation 1 and equation 2, we can write down A union B is equal to B union A, and here it is the proof of the first part. It is the case 2. Like the case 1, you can also consider another element from B union A and you can reach to the point A union B. And this is the case number 2. You can write down, it is in your notebook, but it is not necessary. Just proving the first part, you can just write down. Similarly, we can prove that. Then you combining both of the equation, you can write down your answer. So this is the proof of the first part of theorem number 3. Then moving towards to the second part. This is the second part, starting from the case 1. Let X be an arbitrary element of A intersection B. That is, X belongs to A intersection B. That implies X belongs to A and X belongs to B. That implies, just interchanging their position, X belongs to B and X belongs to A. That means X belongs to B intersection A. So just we have started from the A intersection B and we have reached to the position of B intersection A. That means A intersection B is subset of B intersection A. Hence, A intersection B is subset of B intersection A, and this is the equation 1. Similarly, in the case number 2, we can also prove that the alternative way. Similarly, we can prove that B intersection A is subset of A intersection B, and this is the equation number 2. So from equation 1 and 2, from equation 1 and equation 2, we have A intersection B is equal to B intersection A, and here it is the proof of the second part of the theorem number 3. Then moving towards to the theorem number 4, and that is associative law. In the theorem number 4, that means in the associative law, we have to consider any 3 sets. Let the 3 sets be A, B and C. Here we have to prove both of the parts again in the case of union and also in the case of intersection. So this is the first part of the associative law, and that is A union B union C is equal to A union in the bracket B union C. Let, this is the case 1. Let X be an arbitrary element of A union B outside union C. That is, X belongs to A union B outside union C. That implies you can write down X belongs to A union B or X belongs to C. Then considering this part, first part of this line, just we can write down X belongs to A or X belongs to B, and these are in the bracket. Outside of the bracket is X belongs to C. Just interchanging or just shifting the bracket, position of the bracket towards the right hand side, because both of the connectives are here on. So we can shift this bracket. If this would be in the form of X belongs to A and X belongs to A and X belongs to B outside in the bracket, this is on the outside, it will be in the form of X belongs to C. Then in this position we cannot shift this bracket into the right hand side. This will be wrong. It will be wrong. Because the both of the connectives are not of the same category. Both of the are of a different category. So because as there exist both of the similar type of identical type of connectives here, or the connectives of the chapter set, or, and here it is also or. So due to this reason we can shift the position of the bracket towards the right hand side. So x belongs to A, or here it is x belongs to B, or x belongs to C. That means it will be x belongs to A, or by applying the definition of union here, x belongs to B union C. Then again applying the definition of the union in the case of in the both of the sets A and the set B union C, we can write down x belongs to A union B union C. We have just started from in the bracket A union B, outside union C, and we have reached through the condition outside A union in the bracket B union C. So in the bracket A union B, outside union C is a subset of outside A union in the bracket B union C, and this is the first equation. This is the case number 1, and in the case number 2 we can also prove that similarly we can prove that the reverse one. Considering this set, we have to reach through this set. So A union B union C is a subset of A union B in the bracket A union B, outside union C, and this will be the equation number 2. Then combining both of the equation 1 and equation 2, or combining case number 1, case number 2, from equation 1 and equation 2, we have in the bracket A union B, outside union C is very much equal to outside A union in the bracket B union C, and this is the proof of the first part of the theorem number 4. Then moving to the second part of the theorem number 4. This is the second part. First of all, we have to go through the case number 1. We have to prove the case number 1, and similarly we have to write down the result of the case number 2. Let x be an arbitrary element of A union B, A intersection B, outside intersection C. That is, x belongs to A intersection B, outside intersection C. That implies x belongs to A intersection B and x belongs to C. Then considering this part and putting the definition of the intersection of two sets here, x belongs to A and x belongs to B. It is in the bracket. X belongs to C exists in the outside of the part. Then in shifting this position of a bracket towards the right hand side term, again I am repeating that case, as there exist both of the connectives of the chapter set are identical, so we can shift this bracket towards the right hand side part. That means the last two parts, that means x belongs to A, and so here we will start the bracket position, x belongs to B and x belongs to C. That implies x belongs to A and x belongs to B intersection C. Then again putting the definition of intersection for the set A and B intersection C, it is a single set and this is a single set. So x belongs to A intersection in the bracket B intersection C. So we have just started from this part and reached through this part. So A intersection B, outside intersection C, is a subset of A intersection B intersection C, and this is the equation number 1. Similarly, in the case number 2, we can also prove that. Similarly, we can prove that A intersection B intersection C is a subset of, in the bracket, A intersection B outside intersection C, and this is the equation number 2. From equation 1 and equation 2, we have A intersection B intersection C is equal to A intersection B intersection C. And this is the proof of the second part of the associative law. Then moving towards the theorem number 5, and that is distributive laws. Let us prove the both of the parts of theorem number 5 one by one. So starting from the 1, let X be an arbitrary element of A union V intersection C, that is, X belongs to A union V intersection C. That implies X belongs to A or X belongs to V intersection C. Then we have to solve this part. X belongs to A or X belongs to B and X belongs to C. In this case, you can say that both of the connectives of the chapter set are different from each other. That means we cannot shift the position of the bracket here. Just we have to apply the distributive property here. What is the distributive property? We have to consider this X belongs to A with X belongs to B first. Then in the second part, we have to consider this X belongs to A with the X belongs to C. So X belongs to A or X belongs to B, and X belongs to A or X belongs to C. So what does mean by X belongs to A or X belongs to B? It is none other than the definition of the intersection. X belongs to, it is the case of union, or is the case of union. So it is none other than the case of union here. X belongs to A union B, and it is also said, it is the definition of the union. That means because the word or is present, so X belongs to A union C. So it is one set and it is the second set, a single set. Both are of the single set because bracket is there. Then there exists a connective and in between two sets. That means it is the connective for the topic of, or for the definition of the intersection. So we can write down here X belongs to A union B intersection A union C. Just we have started from the A union in the bracket B intersection C, and we have reached through the condition of intersection of A union B and A union C. So A union V intersection C is subset of A union B intersection A union C, and this is the equation number 1. Then just the reverse condition we can write down. Similarly, we can prove that A union B intersection A union C is subset of A union B intersection C, and this is the case number 2. So from equation 1 and 2, from equation 1 and equation 2, A union B intersection C is equal to A union B intersection A union C, and here it is the proof of the first part of the theorem number 5. Then moving towards the case of intersection here, intersection and then union. This is the second part. Let X be an arbitrary element of A intersection B union C, that is X belongs to A intersection B union C. That implies X belongs to A and X belongs to B union C. That implies X belongs to A and X belongs to B or X belongs to C. Then again the same case is here. Both of the connectives of the chapter set are different. That means we have to use the distributive property rather than the shifting of the bracket position. Just we have to use the distributive property. So X belongs to A and X belongs to B, then or X belongs to A and X belongs to C. So here it is, X belongs to A intersection B, because the term is here and that means it is for the intersection part, or X belongs to A intersection C. Then here it is a single set A union B, and this is the single set A intersection B, and here it is A intersection C, and the term is here or in between them. That means we have to go through the property of union. X belongs to A intersection B union A intersection C. Just we have started from this position and reached through this position. So A intersection B union C is a subset of A intersection B union A intersection C, and here it is the equation number 1. Similarly, we can prove that. Similarly, in the second phase, we can also prove that A intersection B union A intersection C is also subset of A intersection B union C, and it will be the second part. You can prove it. So by combining equation 1 and 2, from equation 1 and equation 2, we have A intersection B union C is very much equal to the union of A intersection B and A intersection C. And here it is the proof of the second part of the theorem number 5. Then moving towards the last part, that means the last theorem of the laws of algebra of sets, and that is De Morgan's law. So here it is the last theorem of this particular session, and that is De Morgan's law. We have given the two sets A and B, and we have to prove again both of the parts, first of all from the union part and then from the intersection part. So moving through the first part, let X be an arbitrary element of complement of A union B. Before going to prove this theorem, let us again revise the part of a complement. If X belongs to complement of A, that implies X does not belong to A. Okay. X is an element, that means X belongs to complement of A union B. That means putting this or applying this fundamental, if X lies if X lies, here it is A set and this is A complement and this is the universal set. If X lies in the complement set, complement of A, that means it will not lie in the A set. Similarly, X does not belongs to the A union B. Again, moving through the another part. If X belongs to A union B, and we have already written as studied it, X belongs to A union B, then X belongs to A or X belongs to B. If X does not belongs to A union B, that implies X does not belongs to A and X does not belongs to B. In this case, whenever X is any element in the set A union B, in this type we have to use the term or here. If X is not belongs to A union B, then in place of A, in place of or, we have to use the term and here. So here X does not belongs to A and X does not belongs to B. These two fundamentals are important in this section. That implies X belongs to complement of A and X belongs to complement of B. Again there is the belongs to term. That means we have to use the general methods of the union and intersection. X belongs to, and here it is also X belongs to, and the term between them is and. That means it is the symbol of the or definition of the intersection. That means X belongs to A complement of A intersection complement of B, and this is the equation number 1. So as we have started from the complement of A union B and we have reached through the condition of intersection of A dash and B dash, so complement of A union B is a subset of A dash intersection B dash. Okay, this is the equation number 1. Similarly, we can prove that A dash intersection B dash is also subset of complement of A union B, and this is the equation number 2. From equation 1 and 2, from equation 1 and equation 2, we have complement of A union B is very much equal to complement of A intersection complement of B, and here it is the proof of the first part of the De Morgan's law. Then moving towards to the next part. Again, let X be an arbitrary element of complement of A intersection B. That is, X belongs to complement of A intersection B. That implies X does not belongs to A intersection B. Again, moving through that definition of A intersection B, X belongs to, if X belongs to A intersection B, that implies X belongs to A and X belongs to B. If X does not belongs to A intersection B, then X does not belongs to A or X does not belongs to B. And we have to apply the second condition here. That means X does not belongs to A or X does not belongs to B. If X is not lying in the set A, that means it must lie in its complement. If here it is the A and this is the A complement and this is the universal set. If X is not in A set, in the set A, if it is not in the A set, that means it must lie where is in this type, in the place of complement of A. It will lie in this part. So X belongs to A dash or X belongs to B dash, complement of B. As both of the connectives are here belongs to, so we have to use the general methods of the term or. That means X belongs to A dash union B dash. Just we have started from this part and reached through this part. So this is the subset of this. So complement of A intersection B is subset of union of A dash and B dash, and this is the equation number 1. Similarly, we can prove that complement of A union complement of B is subset of complement of A intersection B, and this is the equation number 2. From equation 1 and equation 2, we have complement of A intersection B is very much equal to complement of A union complement of B, and this is the proof of the second part of the De Morgan's law. So today we discussed about the 6 theorems of algebra law of sets, and in the next video session we are going to discuss about some of the problems based upon the law of algebra of sets. Till then, thank you.